Today, I want to teach you that to craft compelling and effective introductions, writers often look across the whole of a chapter or the whole of a book and ask, how do these things go together? Then they write to preview the important sections of what's to come and to interest a reader in what each section has to offer. You have enough experience as writers to know that in well organized information or opinion pieces, like information is grouped with like information. As writers, you know how to look across a variety of information to answer the question, what goes together and why? A well crafted introduction demands similar work. For example, let's look for a moment at my table of contents for a companion book about the stolen party. You helped me with this several days ago, and I revised since then and added some chapters. Looking at my chapters, it's clear I've already been thinking somewhat about what goes together, which is why I have chapters like Rosara and her mother, instead of chapters like when Rosara and her mother fight about the party, and what Rosara's mother knows that Rosara doesn't, and Rosara and her mother at the end of the story. I actually write about each of those things, but I do so under the bigger umbrella of Rosara and her mother. When you were younger, many of you probably wrote introductions where you named all the parts to come, where you wrote something like, first, you're going to learn about Rosara and her mother, then about Rosara and the magician, then about that would basically pre-tell everything without really helping the reader see what's important. Now that you're more sophisticated writers, will you help me look across all these pages, all these chapters, and think what goes together and why? And if you do that quickly, you could then ask, how else might things go together? So let's see. One thing I'm seeing is that these four chapters could go together because they're all about the characters in the story. Even more specifically, they focus on Rosara's relationship with different characters. So, in my introduction, I might write something like, first, you're going to learn about critical relationships in the stolen party. Or I could say, first, you're going to learn about Rosara's relationships with other key characters in the story. Then you're going to learn about, what could my readers learn next? I see a couple of different ways that I could name what's happening next. In my introduction, I could write, then you're going to learn about the critical scenes. The significance of the kitchen, the magic show matters, and $2 change everything. Or I could call that group of chapters, let's see, I could use some academic language here to describe what those chapters are about. I could write, next you'll find out about important turning points in the story and how Liliana Hecker crafted them. For each part that you preview, you'll want to add a little advertising, some writing that makes the reader want to read that part. You might say, this part is critical because, or you could say, this section includes analysis of. For example, after I introduce a section on critical relationships, I might write, help me out here. Rosara's relationships are fascinating because, I might say, Rosara's relationships are fascinating because Rosara doesn't understand what's really going on in her relationships. Yes, that would work. Now we have helped our reader get a sense of what those chapters will be about and why they are important. Now it's your turn to do this work so you can draft an introduction. Go back to the lesson platform for the next activity.